Happy Monday, everybody. We are back with another episode of Get Up and Get Better.
Get better. Go get it.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning back in. I hope you had a fantastic weekend with your family. I am your host, Jake Kozak, and this is Get Up and Get Better. So, over the weekend, I came across the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air family reunion episode that they had on HBO Max. I saw the commercials, and it got me thinking about Will Smith. It really, I was just sitting there, I'm like, man, that's a guy I should do an episode on. That is a legendary actor who we all grew up with. He has left an impact on kids of my age, our generation, our lives just from his work, you know. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I grew up watching all the time, one of my favorite shows. And then you had, you know, Men in Black, Mike Lowry, Bad Boys. You had, even the newer generations are seeing him in Aladdin and Suicide Squad. And Will Smith is just one of those actors who you feel really cares about making a difference in the world. And, you know, he's played roles to highlight some of these wonderful people in our world who have made unbelievable stories of triumph. And, you know, he highlights the good in the world. And I really feel like that is his goal. And, you know, he has been famous from a young age, and he has gone on to be, he was named like one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. And I mean, he's from Philadelphia, grew up, did good in school, and he's just a guy that you look at and he always brings a smile to your face. You always love watching him perform. And there's a lot of quotes that I found of Will Smith that I want to share. You know, he's the Fresh Prince, but he gives some motivational advice. He's not just joking around all the time. In that show alone has a bunch of inspirational moments with Uncle Phil and all of that. But I want to start with this quote that I saw. This is a really interesting idea. I want to play it.
You don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. Yeah. And you do that every single day.
And soon you have a wall.
And soon you have a wall.
This one year, my father had his shop, and he decided for whatever reason that he wanted a new wall on the front of his shop. So he tore down probably about 16 feet high and probably about 30 feet long. He just completely tore the wall down, and my brother and I had to dig a 6-foot hole. We
for the foundation.
For the foundation. Right. We would mix in the concrete by hand. Yeah. A year and a half. We were building this wall for a year and a half. Every day after school, we would come and mixing concrete, putting it in the hole, doing it, and it was just myself and my little brother. And I remember standing back, looking at that wall, saying, there's going to be a hole here forever. A year and a half later, we laid the final brick. And my father stood back with my brother and I know he planned this. He says he didn't, but I know he had been planning this and writing this for his for the past 2 years. But we stood back, we looked at the wall, and he looked at me and my brother and said, "Don't y'all never tell me that you can't do something." And walked into the shop.
I heard that story years ago for the first time, and you know, it really stuck in my brain. It resonated with me. And I think it's an interesting idea to take just that brick wall, you know, brick by brick. That a lot of people, Dave Portnoy of Barstool always says brick by brick. And I mean, when you look at that idea of you're building a wall, your life is your own wall, brick by brick. Each day is a brick. And you have to make sure every brick is laid out perfectly or the wall would crumble. So you have to look at your life like that. You have to look at your days like that. If this brick today, if I don't take today and lay it perfectly and do what I can to make sure that this is going to support my wall, your life, then your life will crumble. And that's why it's important day by day and never to tell yourself that you can't do something. And I'm going to get to that, but I want to play this quote first because I've talked about this on the show. This is a way I live my life, and it was really interesting to hear him say it because I feel like not enough people say it. So I'm going to play it.
Yourself. The only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. Right? I will run.
You would not be outworked.
I will not be outworked.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, you might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. You might be sexier than me.
You're getting off first, or I'm going to die. That's how I live my life. And it's not competition against other people. It's more competition against you. Are you willing to put yourself through what it takes at all costs? I am willing to die for something I care about in my life. I am willing to face that. I will give it everything I have. If my body gives out and I'm done, I'm down for the count, so be it. But I'm willing to die on that treadmill in my life. I love that. I found someone else who thinks like that. I think that's really awesome. Now I'm going to go to this one. This one, this is a Confucius quote, but he takes it and he uses it, and it's one that I listen to in motivational videos a lot, and I love it. I'm going to play it.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And, that office, that position, the highest office on the face of the earth, it was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. I really want to say to children out there and to people who are watching, Confucius said one time, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
That quote is so powerful. I think when you look at that quote, those who say they can and those who say they can't, I don't think that the people who say they can't are always sold on that they can't, but they might be afraid. But if you say that you can't and you don't do anything to prove that you can, you're going to be right. And if you say that you can, then there's nothing stopping you at that point, because the only thing stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve is you. That's it. And once you admit to yourself that you can do it, there's nothing else that can stop you, because if you think you can do something, you can do it. That's it. And I think that ties into this next quote. I'm going to play this.
I want my life, I want my work, my family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. Like your life will become better by making other lives better.
So I think when you say you can, you're saying you can because you know what you have to do. You know that when you're admitting to yourself, you know that I have to take that next step. I have to go after it because I can, and I have people that look at me to do so. And there's just so much Will Smith motivation. I want to play this one as well. I connected with this one, and I'll explain why I felt like I did after.
I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities.
I want to represent the idea that you really can make what you want. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. And I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create.
Representing an idea. I think for me, that is what I try to do. Look, there are people out there who have far more reach than I do that talk about the similar stuff. I think how we're talking about on this show is we're taking people and examples and tying it into messages. But what Get Better is an idea. And it's an idea that I recognized at a young age, and I'm grateful for that. But the idea is the full message, not good enough. Get better. People think me, they think get better, they think GB. Not good enough. Get better. That's where it started. That's what I started saying. That idea. not good enough. That's what I'm trying to represent, that I'm in it with you. I'm not, don't listen to me thinking that I have all the answers, because I also am not good enough. I admit that. I feel like so many people who do this don't say that up front. I'm in this with you. This is a journey together to get better, because the idea is that you're not good enough, that I am not good enough, because I can get better, because you can get better. And that's the idea. That's where I saw that. I wanted to play that. And then the last Will Smith quote that I want to play is this one before I go to a movie quote of his.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
I've said stuff like that. I firmly believe it. There's no point in having a plan B. There isn't. There's none. There's no point to have a plan B. If you plan for a plan B, you're planning for a life where you're not happy because you didn't achieve plan A. And if you're okay with not achieving plan A, that just means that plan A wasn't what you really wanted, and that's okay. But plan B is never an option. Ever. Now, to end it, one movie that I love, it's a movie that I've loved for years, and I think it's an emotional film, it's a educational film, and a film full of determination, and that's The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith starred with his son, and this scene, you've seen it most likely, but I'm going to play it because you got to always protect your dream, and I think this sends that message home pretty good.
Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
Alright.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
You got to protect your dream, and I don't care how close you think you are to someone, how much you think someone cares about you, no matter who tells you that your dream's not possible, that is the exact moment that you get that person out of your life. That's it. For me, I am lucky to have people around me that believe that I should go after my dreams, and I truly know that they believe in me. And those are the people that I allow into my life. You allow people into your life. Even your family, you allow them into your life. And you have to have the right people around you at all times, because you got to protect your dream, because everyone else out in that world is trying to take that dream from you. You have to protect it. And I love talking about Will Smith. I think that Will Smith teaches us to find the humor and the joy and the fun and so many things, to be multi-talented. I think it's important because Will Smith, he can act, he can rap, he can do comedy. He does it all in that sense of acting and film. And that's helped him in his career. He does all of it. He does so much different roles and, takes on different projects. And that's what makes Will Smith stand out the most. And of course, you got to be fresh. Like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You got to be fresh. Be yourself. Have fun. Watch a Will Smith movie. And most importantly, go get better.